Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are absolutely tearing into the headlines versus the reality of the AI world. We're going to set the stage for a deep dive into the frankly shocking end of the massive Elon Musk versus Sam Altman trial, and then we're unpacking some seriously dramatic industry shifts that are currently underway over at Google and Apple. Let's get right into it.
2. Just 2. That is the number you really need to keep in mind today. After 3 entire weeks of highly anticipated, dramatic Silicon Valley testimony, plus hundreds of pages of documents, it took just 2 hours for a jury to completely dismiss Elon Musk's lawsuit against OpenAI. Literally, 2 hours. So how exactly does a trial like this just vanish in an afternoon? Let's break it down. Section 1. The 2-hour verdict, a calendar technicality.
To really wrap our heads around this rapid-fire dismissal, we kind of have to separate the sensational headlines from the actual dry legal reality. Basically, Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers adopted a unanimous advisory jury verdict that was purely procedural. OpenAI successfully argued that any harms Musk was trying to litigate actually took place way back before 2021. So the jury's decision simply found that the statute of limitations had expired. The clock had basically run out on Musk's ability to sue in 2024. But here is the absolutely crucial part. They never ruled on the actual merits of the case. They didn't rule on unjust enrichment, they didn't rule on the alleged theft of a charitable trust, or whether those foundational promises were actually broken. Musk's case just completely failed to convince the jurors that he had a valid claim within the strict legal time frame.
Well, reactions poured in literally immediately. Over on X, Elon Musk didn't mince words, stating, "The judge and jury never actually ruled on the merits of the case, just on a calendar technicality. I will be filing an appeal with the Ninth Circuit." He vehemently reiterated his core belief that Altman and Brockman enriched themselves by stealing a charity, and separately, he even called Judge Gonzalez-Rogers a terrible activist judge. So he's making it crystal clear that, in his eyes, the core issues here remain totally unaddressed. Now, across the aisle, OpenAI's lead attorney, Bill Savitt, fired right back, firmly calling the suit a hypocritical attempt to sabotage a competitor. He actually characterized the entire ordeal as an after-the-fact contrivance. And Microsoft chimed in too, issuing a statement that welcomed the jury's decision to dismiss what they called untimely claims. So we've got 2 completely different interpretations of what this trial actually meant, just clashing head-on in the public forum. But what is the immediate real-world fallout here? Well, for OpenAI, their path to an IPO is now entirely clear of this specific legal cloud. Because the verdict was so rapid, it interrupted the broader procedural timeline and just threw out the ongoing debates over damages modeling entirely. I mean, the judge even told the damages expert that his analysis seemed devoid of connection to the underlying facts. Corporate litigation lawyer Andrew Stoltman noted this was basically a major pie in the face for Musk, especially given his elite legal counsel. But for OpenAI, their structural and IPO plans can now just forge ahead without a single moment of delay.
Moving on to Section 2, the unseen evidence, the trial's permanent public record.
Because, look, while Musk might have lost this round on a procedural calendar date, his lawsuit actually succeeded in doing something totally massive. It forced an unprecedented permanent documentary legacy straight into the public eye. We now have a newly established sworn public record. I mean, we've got the 52-page Sutskever dossier, which documents executive dysfunction over a full year. We have Mira Murati claiming Altman was creating chaos, and Tasha McCauley's testimony regarding a culture of deceit, which actually included the board not knowing about GPT's launch in advance. We even got a look at Greg Brockman's journals, calling the nonprofit commitment a lie, that notorious allegiance email connecting Brockman's financial interests to Altman's, Siobhan Silas's 2018 text messages to Musk about keeping information flowing, and even Sam Altman's own on-the-record acknowledgement that he hasn't always told the truth. Add to all of that, Satya Nadella outright confirming $9.5 billion in Microsoft OpenAI revenue under oath. The point is, every future investor, every due diligence team, and every single AI historian is now going to read these sworn testimonies right alongside OpenAI's S1 public offering documents.
So $0 changed hands, but history absolutely kept the receipts. It's just a fascinating duality, right? The legal battle itself gets tossed out in 2 hours without a single juror weighing the actual merits. But those 3 weeks of testimony, that sworn public record it produced, that exists permanently now, regardless of whatever happens with Musk's Ninth Circuit appeal. In a weird way, the trial accomplished exactly what Musk needed it to do. It dragged these closely guarded secrets out for history to see.
Which brings us to Section 3, Google I/O, high stakes, the next AI battleground.
The broader market context right now is just incredible. Alphabet has recently closed the market cap gap with NVIDIA, and the $200 billion Google Cloud Anthropic relationship is arguably the defining infrastructure story of the entire year. Add in the fact that investors are actively rotating out of Microsoft and into Alphabet, and you have an impossibly high stage set for the massive Google I/O event. So what are we looking for? Here is exactly what we expect Sundar Pichai and Demis Hassabis to announce. In core AI, we're looking at a major Gemini update, likely 3.5 or 4.0. In hardware, get ready for Android XR smart glasses, which brings Google back into the hardware game in a very big way. For software, we're expecting Illuminum OS, an Android-based PC operating system. And for the web, an AI mode in Google Search, which could literally fundamentally reshape how content reaches readers on the open web. Now, earlier previews of things like Google Books, a new premium laptop category, and Gemini Intelligence for Android have set absolutely towering expectations for this event.
Because of all this, Google is under a ton of competitive pressure to actually deliver here. Sources are saying their expected Gemini update is targeting the GPT 5.5 class. Make no mistake, that is a massive, significant release. But by the industry's own admission right now, even a GPT 5.5 class model still falls short of Anthropic's new Mythos model, which has completely reset how every single AI lab defines what leading actually means today. So Google has to really thread the needle here. They have to prove without a doubt that they are at the absolute cutting edge.
All right, let's hit our final segment. Section 4, Apple's billion-dollar pivot, shifting alliances in big tech. We are witnessing this crazy split-screen moment in big tech right now. A massive, dramatic restructuring of partnerships involving Apple, OpenAI, and Google is unfolding as we speak. On one hand, OpenAI has reportedly enlisted outside legal counsel and is actively exploring a breach of contract notice against Apple. Why? Well, because that highly touted ChatGPT Siri integration completely failed to deliver the subscription growth that OpenAI originally modeled and anticipated. But while OpenAI is lawyering up, Apple is moving incredibly fast in the exact opposite direction. Basically, simultaneously, Apple just signed a massive $1 billion per year deal with Google for Gemini to power Siri. This move strictly defines the new AI model hierarchy inside Apple's colossal ecosystem, and frankly, it tells OpenAI exactly where it currently stands.
So let's pull all this together. With OpenAI's foundational secrets now fully exposed in the public record, and Google suddenly the engine behind Apple's massive hardware ecosystem, who actually leads the AI era right now? The power dynamics are shifting faster than they ever have, and the alliances we all thought were rock solid are completely rewriting themselves overnight. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep a really close eye on the markets this week, and I will see you in the next one.